Those who know do not speak. Those who speak do not know. Another Dao De Jing quote. This time it's going to be about segmentation and the main mistakes that I'm seeing on Klaviyo accounts. So, um, this video, we're going to be talking about different levels of e-commerce stores that you might have. This, by the way, also applies to other business models, not just e-commerce, but my experience is mostly in e-com. So if this is the first time that you're listening to one of my videos, why should you listen to me? So in the past 8 years, I helped over 200 e-commerce brands only with the email marketing, and that includes two Fortune 500 companies too. And we made over 100 mil for them just from email revenue. So why segmentation? Why this topic? I think this is really just a really big topic, evergreen. Everyone is always talking about it. Everyone wants to be really fancy. Everyone wants to share a screenshot in the new Facebook group or in Instagram close friends list in a story. Hey, we did this super advanced segmentation technique. And but the thing that they don't share is that that email went out to 7 people and it didn't make any sales. What they share is that they tried something fancy and they're not going to share the results. Why? Because they don't work, or like if they do work, then they're not going to talk about it. Okay, like at that level, there's segmentation that is effective, and there's segmentation that is just kind of like people have this complexity bias where if something is more complicated, therefore it must be better. Whereas with email segmentation, very similarly to how your Facebook ads might be working, where broad targeting can very often work better. And yeah, just wanted to bring up this example of this specific client who came to me recently with about a 20% average open rate, and they wanted to do super fancy things with personalization. They were selling products in Germany, and this was their average open rate, and they were doing some fancy things with some properties, and some of the emails showing only to people who have this profile property and all of that fancy stuff. But then part of like the emails contained lists that they should not have sent emails to, and it's actually illegal. So every time, very consistently, whenever I see people trying to do fancy stuff, I'm going to be immediately able to identify 5 really big mistakes that they make on the basic things. Okay, so like first of all, like send emails to people who have agreed to receiving emails. All right, this video is not about cold email. There's other videos that I've made for that one. This is about inbound email marketing, when you email a list that has either specifically or one way or another agreed to receiving emails from you. By the way, I would recommend you checking out customers.ai. They seem to have some interesting solutions around list building, and they can help you grow your email list a little bit faster. And for this client, I'm just saying, like, listen, we need to increase your open rates because you're going to end up in the spam folder. Like, the fact that we're not in the spam folder right now is not like, it's not because of what we're doing, it's despite what we're doing. Okay, so we need to make this a priority in the first month, because if you end up in a spam folder, it takes ages to recover from that. So please don't do that, and please stop telling me to do all of these personalized segments for your 20K list, because this right now is more important. Okay, and let me just share with you my current favorite segmentation technique. All right, so 2025, this is Klaviyo specific. So person can receive email marketing. Klaviyo is pretty good at identifying that. Marked email as spam 0 times overall time. Klaviyo sometimes does not suppress people who have marked you as spam. So it's good to just add that as an additional condition. Same thing with bounced email. Sometimes there can be soft or hard bounces. If you don't know the difference, so basically a hard bounce is more bad. It's when it's an incorrect email address, something along those lines. A soft bounce is a little bit better when someone's email inbox is full, for example, or it can be something along those lines. Person has emailed, open email at least once in the last 10 days. So this is a very engaged segment, or clicked. Just for you to know, Klaviyo often tracks an open after people scroll 70%. So even if they open an email, but then they immediately quit, they're not going to count that as an open very often. So that's because, some people just open an email just to get rid of it in their inbox, just to mark it as read, something along those lines. So we want to include clicked emails as well, because despite logically it does not make sense, it's possible for Klaviyo's metrics for someone to click on an email but not open it, which logically it sounds weird, right? But it can be possible because of this 70% scroll rule, which is, by the way, a setting that you can set up in Klaviyo. Or person has checkout started at least once in the last 10 days, because even if they don't engage with our emails, we want to include buyers because they're the hottest leads or bottom of funnel. Other things that I want to include is people who are VIP, like maybe they haven't been engaged that much recently, but they purchased at least 3 times overall time. So that means that they, I mean, even if they had issues with their delivery, they didn't mind, or they just had a really good experience with the product if they purchased 3 times or over. So this is very arbitrary for your brand. Like if you sell coffee or some kind of consumable products, it might be 5 or it can be a little bit more even. And other people that I want to include is also like expected date of next order is the next 30 days. So this is where Klaviyo uses predictive analytics to determine someone's next purchasing date. Also to include people that are super new, so like people that got added today, but they didn't do any of the above conditions. We still want to include them in the emails, right? So very important to include those. And by the way, you can, so what I usually do is test this segment. And if it has way over 40% open rates, then I would expand this to, let's say, English 30. So then you change the open, click, checkout started metrics from 10 days, also the created one, to 30 days. And then let's see how does that impact the open rates? Because contrary to popular belief, the subject line isn't the number one thing that will determine your open rates. It's actually your segments. Okay. So yeah, and then once you've tested the 30-day one, maybe it has like 50% open rate, then you can test maybe 90-day. Okay, engage 90. So you change these 4 criteria to 90 days. And then let's see if the open rates fall below 40%. As soon as they fall below 40%, that's where I would stop with the expansion. And by the way, I think it's okay to send to your whole list. Let's say like once or twice a month, especially if you have a big sale. I would recommend at least one sale a month. No, it will not devalue your brand if it lasts like 5 days, once a month. It's totally fine. You can do that. And please make sure that you check the other videos about campaign calendars and all of that good stuff. So today's video, I wanted to make a little bit shorter. That was about it. Thank you for getting until the end. Make sure you like, subscribe, and all of that stuff. And catch you next time.